Hey, deep divers. It's your host, back again with another deep dive, into a fascinating topic,
hmm
one that's particularly relevant if you're into international relations,
Yes.
maybe prepping for the UPSC or just curious about how the world works. Before we get started,
Yes.
don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel,
Of course.
and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode.
Yes.
Today, we're tackling a global powerhouse
Yeah.
that's often overlooked, the Commonwealth of Nations.
It's a grouping that stretches across continents and represents a fascinating blend of history and shared values
Yeah.
and modern-day relevance.
Imagine a club with 54 members spanning from Canada to India, Australia, to small island nations in the Caribbean.
Right.
They're all connected by a shared past, but what's really intriguing is how they're shaping the future together. And that's what we're going to unpack today.
What's fascinating about the Commonwealth is its evolution from the British Empire to a voluntary association of independent nations. It's a testament to the power of transformation and the enduring appeal of shared values even in a post-colonial world.
Okay, let's rewind the clocks for a moment.
Yeah.
How did this transition from empire to equals actually happen? It's not every day that you see a global power structure willingly dismantle itself.
You're right, it's a unique story. A key turning point was the Balfour Declaration of 1926,
Okay.
which recognized the autonomy of former British colonies and set the stage for their independence.
Wow.
This was followed by the Statute of Westminster in 1931, which granted these former colonies legislative independence.
So it wasn't an overnight shift, but a gradual process of recognizing the right of these nations to self-determination.
Yes.
But here's where it gets interesting. The Queen is still the symbolic head of the Commonwealth.
Right.
What does that mean for countries like India, which fought hard for its independence?
That's a common misconception. While the Queen holds a symbolic role, it's important to remember that member states have complete autonomy. There are no legal obligations tying them to the UK, and the Queen's role is more about shared heritage than actual power.
It's like having a distant relative who you respect and acknowledge, but who doesn't have any say in how you run your own household.
That's a good way to put it. The focus is on shared values like democracy, human rights, and the rule of law, not on any sort of hierarchical control.
So if it's not about power, how does this club actually function? Who calls the shots? Is it like a giant round table with everyone having an equal say?
Well, they don't have a single leader or president.
Okay.
Instead, decisions are made through consensus and collaboration.
Uh-huh.
One of the key mechanisms for this is the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, or CHOGM for short.
CHOGM. It sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It's actually a biennial summit where leaders from all 54 member states come together to discuss global issues, share perspectives, and forge common ground. Imagine a room filled with prime ministers and presidents from across the globe, all engaged in dialogue and diplomacy.
That's quite a gathering. What were some of the key issues discussed at the last CHOGM, the one held in London in 2018? Were there any major breakthroughs or agreements?
The London CHOGM focused on 4 key themes: prosperity, security, fairness, and sustainability.
Okay.
These themes reflect the Commonwealth's commitment to addressing real-world challenges that transcend national borders.
So it's not just a talking shop, but a platform for action and cooperation.
Yeah.
What were some of the specific outcomes of the summit?
They tackled issues like boosting trade and investment, combating terrorism and cybercrime, promoting good governance and human rights, and addressing climate change.
Wow.
They even issued a joint declaration on cybersecurity, recognizing the growing importance of this issue in our interconnected world.
The Commonwealth Cyber Declaration, that sounds pretty significant, especially in today's digital age.
Yes.
What were some of the key points of this declaration?
It emphasized the importance of international cooperation in combating cyber threats, promoting responsible state behavior in cyberspace, and building capacity in developing countries to address cyber challenges.
So it's about recognizing that in the digital realm, threats and vulnerabilities don't stop at national borders.
Exactly. It's about collective action and shared responsibility.
Okay, so we've got this high-level summit where leaders are hashing out global issues.
Right.
But what about the day-to-day operations of the Commonwealth? Who keeps the lights on and the wheels turning?
That's where the Commonwealth Secretariat comes in. Think of it as the headquarters or the operational hub of the Commonwealth.
So it's like the engine room of this global ship keeping everything running smoothly.
Precisely. The Secretariat is based in London and is headed by the Commonwealth Secretary General.
Okay.
They facilitate communication, organize events like CHOGM, and represent the Commonwealth on the global stage.
So they're like the diplomats, the organizers, and the spokespeople for the Commonwealth.
Right.
But let's get down to brass tacks.
Mm.
What concrete actions does the Commonwealth take to make a difference in the world? It's all well and good to talk about shared values, but how do those values translate into tangible outcomes?
That's a great question, and it's one that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
The Commonwealth is about more than just talk. It has several initiatives that are making a real difference in the lives of people across its member states.
Give us some examples. What are some of the key initiatives that are making a real impact?
One of the most prominent is the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, or CHRI.
Okay.
This organization was born out of the opposition to apartheid in South Africa
Mm-hmm.
and is dedicated to upholding human rights in all member states.
Okay.
They work with governments, civil society organizations, and individuals to promote and protect fundamental freedoms.
So it's about holding member states accountable to the values that they espouse.
Yes.
What are some of the other areas where the Commonwealth is making a difference?
Well, with climate change being such a pressing global challenge, the Commonwealth has launched the Blue Charter on Ocean Governance.
Okay.
This initiative brings member states together to collaborate on protecting our oceans and marine resources.
That's a timely initiative, especially given the growing concern about the health of our oceans and the impact of climate change on coastal communities.
Absolutely. And it highlights the Commonwealth's focus on sustainability and its recognition that environmental challenges require collective action.
So if they're tackling human rights and environmental protection,
Yeah.
what else is on their agenda?
Another area where the Commonwealth is making its mark is in promoting innovation and development.
Okay.
They have developed the Commonwealth Innovation Index,
Mhm.
which ranks member states based on their innovation capabilities. And guess what? India ranked 10th.
That's impressive.
Mhm.
What factors contributed to India's high ranking on the Innovation Index?
India has made significant strides in areas like technology, research and development, and entrepreneurship. The government has launched several initiatives to promote innovation, and the private sector is also playing a key role in driving technological advancements.
So it's a combination of government policies, private sector dynamism, and a culture of innovation that's propelling India forward.
Yes.
What are some of the specific examples of innovation that are driving India's progress in this area?
Well, India has emerged as a global leader in the IT sector, with companies like Infosys and Tata Consultancy Services becoming household names worldwide.
Right.
The country is also making significant progress in areas like biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, and renewable energy.
So it's a diverse and dynamic innovation ecosystem that's contributing to India's rise as a global power. But let's zoom in on India's relationship with the Commonwealth. We were the first country with a predominantly non-European population to join back in 1947, right?
That's right. India's entry into the Commonwealth in 1947 was a historic moment, signaling the transformation of the organization from a club of former British colonies to a truly global and diverse entity.
And that decision to join the Commonwealth wasn't without its critics, was it? There were those who questioned why India would want to remain connected to its former colonial power.
There were definitely different perspectives on the matter.
Right.
Some saw it as an opportunity to forge new partnerships and contribute to a global order based on cooperation and equality.
Yeah.
Others were more skeptical, viewing it as a continuation of colonial ties.
It was a complex decision, no doubt, with historical baggage and geopolitical considerations all intertwined.
Yes.
But ultimately, India chose to embrace the Commonwealth, and we've been an active member ever since.
Exactly. And over the years, India's role within the Commonwealth has evolved.
Okay.
There was a period where India's focus shifted towards other international priorities, but in recent years, we've seen a renewed interest in the Commonwealth under Prime Minister Modi's leadership.
That's a great segue to our next segment. In part 2 of our deep dive, we'll delve deeper into India's current engagement with the Commonwealth, exploring the motivations, the challenges, and the opportunities that lie ahead. So stay tuned, deep divers. Welcome back, deep divers. We're picking up our exploration of the Commonwealth of Nations right where we left off, with India's unique and evolving role in this global organization.
As we discussed, India's decision to join the Commonwealth in 1947 was a historic one.
Right.
It marked a shift in the organization's identity and set the stage for its evolution into the diverse and dynamic entity it is today.
It's fascinating to consider the factors that led India to join the Commonwealth just after gaining independence. It must have been a complex decision, weighing the historical baggage of colonialism against the potential benefits of this new global partnership.
Absolutely. For India, the Commonwealth represented an opportunity to engage with the world on its own terms as an equal partner.
Yeah.
It provided a platform to forge new relationships, amplify its voice on the global stage, and contribute to shaping a post-colonial world order.
So it was about looking ahead, not dwelling on the past.
Exactly. It was a forward-looking decision, recognizing that the Commonwealth could serve as a bridge between India and the wider world, fostering cooperation and understanding in a newly independent era.
But India's relationship with the Commonwealth hasn't always been smooth sailing, has it? There have been periods of closer engagement and times when India seemed to distance itself from the organization. What factors have influenced these shifts over the years?
You're right, there have been ebbs and flows in India's engagement. During the Cold War, for example,
Mhm.
India's non-aligned foreign policy led it to prioritize relationships with other developing nations and the Soviet bloc.
So the geopolitical realities of the time influenced India's priorities,
Yes,
and the Commonwealth might have taken a bit of a backseat.
that's a fair assessment, but it's also important to remember that even during those periods of relative detachment, India continued to participate in Commonwealth forums and engage on issues of mutual interest.
So there was always an underlying recognition of the value of this network, even if other priorities sometimes took precedence. And in recent years, we've seen a resurgence of India's engagement with the Commonwealth, particularly under Prime Minister Modi's leadership.
Absolutely. Prime Minister Modi's attendance at the 2018 CHOGM in London was a clear signal of India's renewed commitment to the organization. It marked a turning point, ushering in a phase of more active and assertive engagement.
Okay, so let's dive into the reasons behind this renewed interest. What's driving India's current approach to the Commonwealth? Is it about nostalgia, pragmatism, or a mix of both?
It's definitely more than just nostalgia. India's renewed engagement with the Commonwealth is driven by a confluence of factors, both strategic and practical.
Okay, unpack that for us. What are some of the key motivations driving India's approach?
Well, one key factor is India's growing global stature. As India's economy has grown and its influence on the world stage has expanded, it's naturally seeking a larger role in shaping global affairs. The Commonwealth provides a platform for India to project its soft power, promote its interests, and build alliances with a diverse range of nations.
So it's about leveraging the Commonwealth network to advance India's foreign policy goals and strengthen its position on the global stage.
Precisely. The Commonwealth offers a ready-made network of countries with shared history, language, and values.
Yeah.
This makes it easier for India to build consensus-forged partnerships and advance its diplomatic agenda.
But it's not just about grand strategy and global influence, is it? There are also more practical considerations at play, particularly in the economic realm.
Absolutely. The Commonwealth provides a framework for economic cooperation, trade, and investment among its member states.
Right.
For India, this represents an opportunity to expand its economic footprint, tap into new markets, and attract foreign investment.
So it's a win-win, fostering economic growth both within India and across the Commonwealth.
Exactly. And this is particularly important in today's interconnected global economy. The Commonwealth provides a platform for countries to work together to address common challenges, such as trade barriers, investment flows, and sustainable development.
But with China's growing economic and geopolitical clout, how does the Commonwealth fit into India's overall foreign policy strategy? Is it seen as a counterweight to China's influence, or is it more about pursuing parallel paths?
That's a nuanced question.
Yeah.
And it's one that's been debated by foreign policy experts. While the Commonwealth isn't explicitly positioned as a counter to China, it does offer an alternative model for international cooperation, one that's rooted in shared values and democratic principles.
So it's about presenting a different path to development and global engagement, one that's more aligned with India's democratic values and its vision for a multipolar world.
That's a good way to put it. The Commonwealth provides a platform for countries to collaborate on an equal footing,
Right.
without the pressure or coercion that sometimes accompanies relationships with larger powers.
It's about cooperation, not coercion. And that resonates with many countries, especially those that are wary of China's growing assertiveness.
Precisely. And this is where India's role becomes particularly important.
Okay.
As the world's largest democracy and a rising economic power, India brings a unique perspective and credibility to the Commonwealth.
It's about demonstrating that there's another way to engage with the world, one that's based on mutual respect, shared values, and a commitment to democratic principles.
Exactly. And this message is particularly relevant in today's world where democracy is facing challenges from various quarters.
Right.
The Commonwealth provides a space where democracies can support each other, share best practices, and work together to strengthen democratic institutions around the world.
It's a powerful message, and one that resonates with many countries both within and outside the Commonwealth.
Hmm.
But India's engagement with the Commonwealth isn't just about high-level diplomacy and geopolitical strategy. It's also about leveraging the deep connections fostered by the vast Indian diaspora spread across the Commonwealth.
Yes. The Indian diaspora, that's a powerful force, with millions of people of Indian origin living and working in Commonwealth countries around the world.
How does this diaspora factor into India's approach to the Commonwealth?
It's a crucial element. The diaspora creates natural bridges between India and other Commonwealth members, fostering cultural exchanges, promoting tourism, and facilitating economic ties.
It's like a ready-made network of ambassadors, cultural connectors, and economic facilitators, all working to strengthen ties between India and the wider Commonwealth community.
Exactly. And this people-to-people connection is something that's unique to the Commonwealth. It adds a layer of depth and richness to the relationship going beyond the formal interactions between governments.
So it's not just about treaties and agreements, it's about shared experiences, cultural understanding, and personal connections that transcend national borders. But with all the potential benefits of engaging with the Commonwealth, are there any challenges or criticisms specific to India's role in the organization?
Well, one criticism that's sometimes leveled is that India's focus on the Commonwealth might distract from its engagement with other regional groupings, such as the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, or SAARC.
So it's a balancing act, trying to ensure that India's engagement with the Commonwealth complements rather than competes with its regional priorities.
That's a valid point. It's about finding the right balance and ensuring that India's engagement with the Commonwealth serves its broader foreign policy objectives.
And those objectives are multifaceted, right? It's about balancing economic interests, strategic alliances, and promoting a global order that aligns with India's values.
Absolutely. It's about navigating a complex and rapidly changing world, making strategic choices that serve India's national interests both in the short and long term.
Well, deep divers, we've explored India's unique and evolving role in the Commonwealth from its historic decision to join in 1947 to its current resurgence of engagement under Prime Minister Modi. But there's still so much more to unpack.
In part 3 of our deep dive, we'll step back and examine the broader significance of the Commonwealth in today's world.
Okay.
We'll delve into its role in promoting democracy, addressing global challenges, and shaping a more just and equitable world order. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, deep divers. We've journeyed through the history of the Commonwealth, explored its unique structure, and zoomed in on India's fascinating role within this global network.
And now it's time to widen our lens and contemplate the bigger picture. What does the Commonwealth's very existence tell us about the state of global affairs in the 21st century? What role can it play in a world grappling with complex challenges and shifting power dynamics?
Those are the big questions we're tackling today. It's easy to dismiss the Commonwealth as a relic of the past, a fading echo of the British Empire. But I think there's something more profound at play here.
I agree. The Commonwealth challenges the conventional wisdom that power and dominance are the only currencies in international relations. It represents a different approach, one based on cooperation, not coercion.
It's like a quiet rebellion against the zero-sum game of global politics. Instead of winner takes all, the Commonwealth promotes the idea that collaboration can lead to mutual benefit.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that in an interconnected world, our fates are intertwined. Challenges like climate change pandemics and economic instability don't respect borders. They demand collective action and shared responsibility.
And that's where the Commonwealth comes in. It provides a platform for countries to work together, not as rivals, but as partners. And this is especially important for smaller nations that might otherwise feel marginalized in the global arena.
The Commonwealth gives these countries a voice, a seat at the table where they can engage with larger powers on an equal footing. It's about amplifying their concerns, sharing best practices, and finding solutions that benefit everyone.
It's like a global support system ensuring that no one gets left behind. But let's be honest, the Commonwealth isn't a global superpower. It doesn't have a standing army or the ability to impose sanctions. So how does it actually exert influence? What tools does it have at its disposal?
You've hit on a crucial point. The Commonwealth's strength lies in its soft power. It's about persuasion, not coercion. is about setting standards, promoting dialogue, and fostering a sense of shared values.
It's the power of example, the influence that comes from being a champion for democracy, human rights, and good governance. And that influence can be incredibly potent, especially in a world where many people are disillusioned with traditional power structures.
Exactly. The Commonwealth offers a different model, one that emphasizes inclusivity, fairness, and respect for diversity.
But let's not sugarcoat things. The world is a complex place with competing interests and ideologies. How does the Commonwealth navigate those challenges? How does it handle disagreements and conflicts between member states?
That's a key test for any organization that values cooperation. The Commonwealth has mechanisms for mediating disputes and facilitating dialogue between member states. It's about bringing parties together, finding common ground, and promoting peaceful resolution.
It's like being the family therapist for a global family, helping them work through their differences and find ways to coexist peacefully. But does it actually work? Are there concrete examples of the Commonwealth successfully resolving conflicts?
There have been instances where the Commonwealth has played a constructive role in de-escalating tensions and promoting reconciliation. For example, it played a crucial role in the transition to democracy in South Africa, helping to dismantle the apartheid regime and paving the way for a more just and equitable society.
So it's not just about talking the talk, but also about walking the walk. The Commonwealth has a track record of getting involved in tough situations and making a tangible difference.
That's right. And its focus on dialogue, consensus building, and shared values makes it particularly well-suited to addressing complex challenges like post-conflict reconciliation and democratic transition.
Okay, so we've talked about the Commonwealth's role in promoting democracy and peace building, but what about its relevance in the economic sphere? Does it have any clout when it comes to trade, investment, and development?
The Commonwealth has a long history of promoting economic cooperation among its members. It offers a platform for sharing expertise, attracting investment, and building capacity in developing countries.
So it's about helping countries grow their economies, create opportunities for their citizens, and achieve sustainable development. But in a world where economic power is often concentrated in the hands of a few, how does the Commonwealth ensure that everyone benefits?
That's a crucial question, and one that the Commonwealth is actively addressing. It's focused on promoting inclusive growth, ensuring that the benefits of economic development reach all segments of society, not just the privileged few.
It's about creating a level playing field, empowering developing countries, and ensuring that no one gets left behind in the global race for prosperity.
Exactly. And the Commonwealth emphasis on social justice, human rights, and good governance provides a framework for achieving this goal.
Well, deep divers, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the Commonwealth of Nations. We've explored its history, its structure, its impact, and its enduring relevance in the 21st century. It's a reminder that even in a world often defined by division and conflict, there's still room for collaboration, dialogue, and a shared sense of purpose. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, deep divers, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.